The Nashville Zoo is a wonderful place to come and see all the animals, but for us gardeners, it also is a horticultural wonder. And here we are at the busiest part of the Nashville Zoo, right in the middle by the cafe. A great place to get some tips today about how to grow durable plants in all of our landscapes. I found Scott Barnes, who is the horticulturalist at the Nashville Zoo. And Scott, I'm curious, what are some of the challenges that you face in your job here?
Well, our biggest challenge is the amount of people that come through the zoo, and we have upwards to 800,000 guests a year, and a lot of those are kids who are very hard on the plants.
Well, I can certainly understand, and much like our own yards, dogs, kids, even having parties can be a challenge, so maybe we can get some tips. Shall we work from the ground up?
Sure. Right behind you we have Vinca is our major ground cover in this area because it's very durable. Kids can jump on it, stand on it, I can walk through it to garden, and it always comes back year after year, and it's just very prolific. And it is a little bit invasive, that's why we keep it inside of a planter, so it's not as to get out of the area.
Well, that's a great start. Now, what about midway up in our canopy? What are we looking at?
Like back here we have a nice rhododendron, which is very similar to an azalea, very shade tolerant. It's a wonderful plant. It puts off very beautiful purple pastel colors. It matches nicely with the contrast with the Vinca. And then above that, we have a very nice lacebark elm that has beautiful exfoliating bark and has very nice winter interest, and during the summer casts a nice shade.
And I'm sure these are both really quite durable in case somebody accidentally gets hold of them.
Yes, the rhododendron is not as durable as other plants, but that's why we put things like these rocks in front of it, where the kids will want to play on the rocks, but not necessarily want to go further into the rhododendron, which is very thick as it is, so that's an excellent plant to put in where the animals and plants and people can get through it.
Well, that's a wonderful way to protect these plants, and let's take a look at some of the other things that we're doing here. Well, just like in my garden, sometimes the dogs or people's kids decide there's a pathway they need. I guess you have that going here.
That definitely happens at the zoo. We've got long pathways where a kid will see there's an exhibit on the other side and they just want to bolt right through there, and that happens all the time. So we have these little man-made pathways, and sometimes you can't get around that. You just got to let them make it and accept it and let them, or actually we could pave it too and just make it a nice easy way for them to get down there. But still, we do have a nice durable plant in there. We have a nice crepe myrtle here that's extremely durable. I could hang from that and it won't break, and it has nice vertical trunks, and it's just really good to keep kids from climbing on it.
Now, I also see you have some beautiful and delicate irises, but they seem to be cleverly placed out of harm's way.
We have some nice yellow flag irises out there. They are right behind a fence. If the kids could get to those, they would destroy them. So you could see them and see the exhibit at the same time.
Well, this is certainly a wonderful prickly plant with beautiful, attractive fruit.
Yes, this is a leatherleaf mahonia. We use it extensively through the zoo because it is very prickly, and it does keep people out of that certain area, especially when you really need to keep them out of an area they keep cutting through. We'll put a nice plant like this that's not going to hurt you, but it's going to deter you from going through. It keeps a good year-round interest. It keeps its foliage all year. It gets these nice, beautiful blue berries on them. And we also use grasses as a very good deterrent for kids to run through them, because they do kind of have a lot of silica in them. They're very abrasive, and we will not cut them down until the very last second when they start growing in the spring, to keep that brown foliage there. It keeps some winter interest as well, and to keep the kids from stomping on the old dead grass, so we don't mash the roots before the spring comes. Throughout the zoo, we'll use various different kinds of barberries, pyracanthus we use a lot. We have a lot of those in the parking lot. And hollies tend to be prickly as well. And mahonia, like we said, we have several different kinds of mahonias. Those are all great plants that really deter people from getting into areas they shouldn't be in.
Well, and a good choice for us at home as well.
Yes.
And this is a great way to keep people on the paths in areas where you really don't want them in the woods where you might have poison ivy, for example?
Which poison ivy in Nashville is very prolific, and we find it all over the grounds. We do try to take care of it as best as possible, but it does, it's a woodland vine, and if the kids get back into the woods, they will, probably encounter poison ivy.
Well, you all are in a very sensitive region here, being near Mill Creek, with the endangered Nashville crayfish, so I know you might be limited with some of the things you use.
Yep.
How do you get rid of the poison ivy?
For the most part, if we're in an area where we think there might be some runoff to the Mill Creek, we will just hand pull it with chemical latex gloves that come up to our elbows. Throw it in a plastic trash bag and throw it in the dumpster. That's the best way for us to dispose of it. Sometimes if it's in a non-sensitive area, we will just spray it with Roundup or something similar and to kill it.
This is a gorgeous tree and it looks really sturdy.
Yes, this is a weeping Catsura. Has a beautiful, graceful form that weeps down to the ground. It will actually, the leaves will go all the way to the ground if you let it. Is extremely durable, and kids do love to climb into this one because it has good structure. But you can see after many, many years of kids climbing in, it's still looking good, still doing well.
And what about some of your other small trees here? What are your favorites?
Yeah, we have a nice weeping Yopon holly right in front of the cafe. Those are nice and sticky, like people don't like to get into them. They're not prickly or anything, but they just got a lot of dead twigs and stuff in them that look good and really keeps people out of them. We also have a Cryptomeria japonica over there. It's a very good plant. People tend to shy away from conifers because they think they're all going to be prickly, even though not all of them are, but they tend to stay away from them.
Well, and very, very durable is the bamboo that you have, but people steer away sometimes from bamboo because it can be so invasive. What are you all doing?
Yeah, we have lots of bamboo throughout the zoo, but we do try to keep very good control of it by either keeping it in a planter, but if you do see it out in the park, it's probably lined with plastic as well. We'll dig a nice deep trench, 2 feet deep, put a very thick plastic in there and wrap it around, maybe even twice, just to protect the roots from getting out of that one area.
I love these oak leaf hydrangea, but they're sort of delicate.
Yes, they're very delicate. That's why you see we put them right behind a bench. People can still enjoy them, but they're protected from the kids and other people as well.
Well, I bet those little flowers are very, very tempting.
Yes, they are. Kids love to pick the flowers. That's why it's important that we place plants appropriately throughout the zoo.
Well, Scott, things look wonderful around here, but I don't know, is this something that you didn't get to this winter?
No, we left this on purpose. The old sticks of the plant tend to keep people out of them and allow the new growth to get tall enough before we prune this back, and it saves the new growth from getting stomped on.
Well, I really love that tip because I'm always trying to figure out how to keep my dogs out of those kind of
Yeah,
things.
you can do this with any perennial that dies back and leaves a nice twiggy stick behind.
I love the carousel, but I bet it presents its own little challenges when the kids see it.
Yes, that is definitely true. That's why we put these beautiful knockout roses in the way. It's one of the better deterrents to keep kids and adults out of the planters.
Well, Scott, thank you for all of your wonderful tips and ideas, things that we can use in our own homes to keep more inquisitive feet and hands out of some of our more delicate areas in our gardens. And it's just been a delight to be out here to talk with you at the Nashville Zoo.
Well, thank you very much. I enjoyed it.
And to see all of these great ideas in action, to see the beautiful plants, oh, and the animals too, come on out to the Nashville Zoo.